question.
Yeah, fire away.
All right. So the first question, I'm gonna kind of modify it because it's kind of like super general.
Okay.
So it says, how do you personally define leadership? But I want to do like personally define like biblical leadership. I don't know. Maybe it'd be the same answer.
Okay.
But like, what do you personally like see as biblical like leadership?
So for me, that means, figuring out the tension between what's best for the church, what's best for the individual. If I'm working with an employee or an individual on anything, and trying to bring those things together, but then keep myself out of it. Like, how can I serve? How can I make what's good for the church as a whole, the individual? How do you make decisions about those things?
Yeah. Thinking
of those two things in mind, not myself. So that's something that's, nobody does it perfectly or 100%, but it's something I would always work to try to be better at as a biblical leader. Whereas if I would just think about being a leader, it could just be my own goals, my own ambitions, what I want to accomplish. A lot of times it's mutually the same because I lead the church. So if the church is doing well, people are doing well, I feel as though I'm doing well, right? Yeah. But you try to keep your focus on other people and what's best for the body as a whole. Okay. I would think of that as biblical leadership, like right from the start.
So what's the biggest challenge that you face as a ministry leader, church leader?
Is people don't trust you by default. Like, they come into the church and their first inclination is, I don't trust that person because they're a leader.
Like, they're automatically skeptical.
They're automatically skeptical. Yeah. That's a newer thing in the last couple of years that's gotten more that way. I think especially as the church has grown too, people have more of a sense of.
So you're just saying like here in reality. Okay. Yeah. All this stuff. So you leading this church. Was there a moment that you were ever like, oh, I feel like this is too much for me, and like with the way that it comes with it, or the pressure, like how do you deal with that? Because I feel like I put a lot of pressure on myself, and I don't know if this is like normal if other people experience it, or it's like something I got to work through. Like, I don't know, what was your like experience with like the pressure that comes with it, and not like fumbling what God has given you? I don't know.
Yeah, a friend of mine said to me some years ago, he said, a friend of mine was an executive at a very large company. Yeah. He said, anytime that he gets to a place where he feels overwhelmed, he realizes he's not leaning and depending enough on the people around him. He's trying to do it all himself. So when we go back to when we started Reality Church, when I think about that, I immediately had a team. I found a team of close people that shared the vision and wanted to do it with me. So as the church has grown, I have those moments all the time where I feel overwhelmed. Like, I feel inadequate. I can't believe what people are going to find out I'm really not a good leader. I'm not going to have this job anymore. You know, these like imposter syndrome things that you think about. Yeah. And whenever I get in those modes or thinking that way, I think, okay, who do I need to ask for help that's around me? Help me figure out this problem. Help me get a better system. Help me deal with this emotional pain I'm feeling.
So this is what it says. It says, tell me about the pieces of technology, apps, and software that help you the most. So are there any like main ones? I know you guys use a couple that Connor has shown me, but are there any like 3 or 4 main ones you guys use? Or
software that helps us the most? Well, definitely Planning Center, because it has a database of everybody. You can find people, look them up, see what their names are. If you can't remember somebody's last name or first name, if you want to get in touch, you can look them up, you get their text, or email or whatever. I'm starting to learn ChatGPT more. Like, that's learning more about that. It's helping me write emails and stuff.
What does it look like for you to sit with the Lord, or is it more like what does that collab look like? I feel like, because I know like you hear from the Lord and He puts things on your heart. It's like, what's that process going to look like for you?
I'm always listening to try to hear the Lord, whether I'm talking to somebody or listening to a podcast, reading scripture. I'm always feeling like I'm listening to hear if He's saying something. And I find most of the time when I do that, He is. So then it's like, okay, what am I hearing based on some category I'm trying to lead the people in that I feel like God's leading me to lead the people in. So once I get a little something, then it's like developing it, a little direction. So okay, where's examples in Scripture? What are verses? What stories in Scripture? Then what are stories of my own life that apply? What creative things? The latest thing for me is trying to have symbols on stage. Like something like I had that stupid joystick or duster this weekend. Like stupid, you know, people remember a little something like that.
Yeah.
So trying to think creatively. What could it look like? So once you get a concept, then it's like, right, how does a sermon flow? Once you get some ideas of what you want to say. So main idea, there's things that support that idea. Then how does it flow together, and how do I transition from one point to the next? And that's just like if you're writing a paper, it's very similar to that.